अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूवर्स, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। उम्मीद करती हूँ आप सब खैरियत से होंगे। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है इंग्लिश लिटरेचर सिंस 1900। द मेजर लिरिक पोएट ऑफ द फर्स्ट डिकेड ऑफ द 20th century was Thomas Hardy. Following the classical novelties of the Urbilla and far from the madding crowd, Hardy then concentrated on poetry. After the harsh critical response to his last novel, Jude the Obscure, the most vividly popular writer of the early years of the 20th century was arguably Rudyard Kipling, a highly versatile writer of novel, short stories and poems, and to date the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature. Kipling's work include The Jungle Book, The Man Who Would Be King, and Kim, while his inspirational poem If is a national favorite. Like William Ernest Henley's poet that has inspired such people as Nelson Mandela when he was incarcerated. If is a memorable evocation of Victorian socialism's regard as a traditional British virtue, strongly influenced by his Christian faith. Diverse output. J.K. Christons was a prolific and hugely influential writer with the diverse output. Aldous Huxley's futuristic novel Brave New World anticipates development in reproductive technology and sleep learning that combine to change society. The future society is the embodiment of the ideals that form the basic of futurism. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट हमारे पास है मॉडर्निज्म. द मूवमेंट नॉन एज इंग्लिश लिटरेरी मॉडर्निज्म ग्रू आउट ऑफ अ जनरल सेंस ऑफ disillusionment with Victorian era attitude of certainty, conversation and objective truth. The movement was greatly influenced by the ideas of Romanticism, Karl Marx's political writing, and the psychoanalytic theories of subconscious, Sigmund Freud, the continental art movement of Impressionism, and later Cubism were also important inspiration of our modernist writer. Although literary modernism reached its peak between the First and Second World Wars, the earliest example of the movement's attitude appeared in the mid of the late 19th century. Greered Manley Hopkins, A.E. House, and the poet and novelist Thomas Hardy represented a few of the major early modernist writing in England during the Victorian period. The first decade of the 20th century saw several major works modernism published, including the seminal short story collection Dubliners by James Joyce, Joseph Conrad, Hearts of Darkness, and the poetry and drama of William Butler Yeats. Josie magnum opus Ulysses is arguably the most important work of modernist literature and has been referred to as a demonstration and summation of the entire movement. It is an interpretation of the Odyssey set in Dublin and culminates in Finnegan's Wake. Important novelists between the World Wars including Virginia Woolf, E.M. Forster, Evelyn Woolf, P.G. Wodehouse, and D.H. Lanois. Woolf was an influential feminist and a major stylistic innovator associated with the stream of consciousness technique. Her 1929 novel A Room of Her Own, If She Is to Write Fiction, T.S. Eliot was the preeminent English poet of the period. Across the athletic writers like William Frederick, Ernest Hemingway, and the poets Wilkins and Robert Frost developed a more American take on the modern aesthetic in their work. सो ये था हमारा आज का टॉपिक। उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आपको आज की वीडियो पसंद आई होगी। पसंद है तो वीडियो को लाइक कीजिएगा, शेयर कीजिए, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा। थैंक यू।